Hey everyone, back to you in today's video. We're going to do a bit of a long range look ahead today, having a look at the rest of September and going off into October as well. Just see if there's any sign of anything particularly autumnal coming up. It's been a very slow start to the autumn so far. I think temperatures will be taking a little bit of a dip over the next few days, certainly as go over the weekend and start of next week, but we'll have a look and see whether there's any sign of anything really autumnal setting in the near future. In a moment, before I get on with that though, just want to say about the advertising now. I've got links to articles that you can have a browse through sitting just underneath the video player here at gazwobiz.com. If there's any article that you're interested in, just click through the link. You'll be able to go off and read that article. At the same time, Gazwobiz will be getting a revenue from that as well. So there's some very interesting articles there. I've had a browse through myself. Do have a look through, see if there's anything you're interested in, and if you want to read any of those articles, just click through the link and you'll be able to do that. And thanks very much for doing that as well. So I'm going to start off just quick with the situation today. Now I've got the risk of thundery showers across some southern and central parts of the country today. Difficult to say quite how active this is going to get because there's a lot of low cloud across the country at the moment. That's going to limit the temperature potential a little bit. It could be a very, very warm day today. If the sun came out for any length of time, it could get up to around 80 Fahrenheit, but with so much cloud around, we are sort of struggling to pick those temperatures up. It's really getting the temperatures up that's going to set off the shower. So this is the current radar picture from the weatheroutlook.com. You can see we have got some showery rain stretched through the Midlands, quite light through the East Midlands. It gets heavier as we get through towards the South and West Midlands, going down into South West England. A cluster of very heavy showers just started to divert from Southampton going up towards the west of London. If we have a look at the lightning detector device to see whether any of those showers are producing lightning at the moment, we can see that when this clicks over, there we go, we can see that there are some lightning flashes going on across the south in that heavier band of showers stretched out from the south coast to the west of London. Maybe we get a little widespread through the course this afternoon, gradually moving up from the south. Here's the high resolution Euro 4 rainfall forecast for midday, and we see that it's not quite right. It's got this area of heavy rain here through Wales and the Midlands, nothing to the south. Actually, the heaviest of the rain is further south than that, but it's sort of the idea that there could be showery bursts of rain across large parts of England and Wales today. Most places will stay dry, of course, but large areas are at risk of getting some heavy showers and some thunderstorms coming through. So it's just going to be a case really of keeping an eye on what the weather's doing. I think you can't be all that specific about where these thundery showers are going to develop, but keep an eye on it because there could be some big downpours through the course of this afternoon. Even into this evening, we keep risk of some thundery showers down in the south and the southeast. This is for midnight, for instance. Euro 4 is still seeing risk of some very heavy showers, no doubt thunder and lightning mixed in with those here across some southern and central parts of the country. But you can't nail this down to this specific area. It could just be anywhere within this sort of wider area across Wales and the Midlands, I think, that's at risk of getting a torrential downpour either this afternoon or into this evening. And then tomorrow it's all going to start to clear away excuse me, from the north as cooler, fresher air begins to move in. But it could take a long while for the southeast to freshen up, maybe not freshening up until Sunday. Right, let's have a look at the long range out then. We're going to start off with the Japanese model. It's JMA Friday, as always. On a Friday at Gazwobiz, let's have a look at the month ahead from the Japanese model. These are 500 millibar height anomalies broken down into weekly periods, and this first week period will be taking us from the 18th to the 25th of September, so the week that we're currently in. Of course, as you know, the British Isles on these charts is upside down, so we're just here upside down on the map. Blue extrapolating to below average heights, yellow and orange extrapolating to above average heights, that's low pressure, high pressure respectively. So we're seeing an area below average heights sitting to the west and the southwest of the country. During the coming week, the ridge is up to the northeast. The wind direction with that coming up from a southwesterly sort of direction is gradually turning more unsettled through that weekly period. I think that's a pretty good representation of the situation we've got coming up for the coming week. It is going to be turning a little bit more unsettled, particularly in the north and west next week. As we move through into the second week period, and this one takes us from the 25th of September to the 2nd of October, so into the first few days of the new month. It turns more definitively unsettled then. We've got this area below average heights around to the north and to the west of the British Isles, bringing in the jet stream across the country. So it's cooler, it's more unsettled. All places could be turning unsettled through that week period. Even down in the south and the southeast, we might turn it more unsettled than we've had recently. It could bring some rain even down into the south and the southeast with that sort of anomaly. That is a more unsettled week across all parts of the country. And then going through to the final 2-week period, which takes us from the 2nd of October to the 16th of October. During that week period, look at this, we find the ridge coming back to the east again, so pressure is building with those yellow colours out to the east. The ridge, the trough I should say, is being pushed off to the west and the northwest, so we're basically reverting back to the pattern that we've had through much of September. It'll be turning drier, it'll probably be turning warmer with that as well, because the air mass again is generally southerly between the ridge to the east and the trough to the west. So that implies that as going to October, we're going to be seeing more settled weather coming back down after a brief spell of more unsettled conditions at the very end of September and the 1st of October. We find things drying out and probably warming up as well. Although, of course, once we get through to October, the actual wind direction becomes very, very important, because it can start to get quite a bit cold, particularly at night under areas of high pressure. Just depends on the very exact source of the air mass by the time we get through to October. But on the face of it, it's certainly looking drier again as we get through into October, with no sign really of a definitive sort of switch to very autumnal conditions. This is the Beijing Climate Centre. These are again 500 millibar height anomalies broken down into 10-day periods this time. So the first 10-day period here is taking us from the 21st of September to the 30th of September, so through the coming 10 days. And again, same idea, orange is extrapolating to above average heights, high pressure, blue extrapolating to below average heights, low pressure. So through the coming final 10 days of September, we see this ridge out to the southwest of the country being pushed up across into the British Isles. Excuse me, as well. The trough of low pressure is out to the northwest around Greenland. That's quite settled for the south. Could be a little bit more unsettled for the north, but for the south it's actually seeing quite a lot of settled weather going on through the final 10 days of September. Not quite in agreement that with the JMA. The JMA is a little bit more unsettled, I think, as we get through towards the end of September. Now, then the first 10 days of October, this is the 500 millibar height anomaly from the Beijing Climate Centre from the 1st to the 10th of October, and then it's turning more unsettled. We're seeing this trough of low pressure out in the Atlantic pushing closer in. The ridge is moving more down to the south of the country. The jet stream is probably running in something like that into the British Isles. Quite a strong jet stream as well. So it's seeing more unsettled spell through the first 10 days of October. But then as we go through to the second 10-day period from the 11th to the 20th of October, we find the ridge building back to the southwest again. So here comes the above average heights again, setting up just to the southwest. The below average heights are still up to the north-northwest, but being pushed further to the northwest. And really, although it's a little bit unsettled perhaps for Scotland and Northern Ireland, for England and Wales there will be a lot of dry weather coming back through that middle 10 days of October. And finally through to the final 10 days of October, it's a very similar scenario really, a north-south split with the below average heights to the north, above average heights to the south. It's mainly dry on that sort of setup for England and Wales. It would be a little bit more unsettled to the north. The jet stream is generally, I think, running to the north of the coast, so it's pretty warm as well on the warm side of the jet. Overall, a pretty benign sort of October being signalled there, and that will carry on from the very quiet September that we've had. So again, nothing too autumnal, nothing too cold, nothing too stormy really being predicted at the moment for October on either the JMA or the Beijing Climate Centre. Finally, having a look at the CFS model, and these again are 500 millibar heights. These are broken down into week weekly periods. The first week period takes us from the 18th to the 24th of September, and we've got that ridge of high pressure really in across the country quite nicely there, with those red colours. The trough is down to the south and the southeast. But as we go through to the next week period, this one takes us from the 25th of September to the 1st of October, where we bring low pressure back much more strongly then, set it up to the north of Scotland with those blue and green colours. The ridge is being pushed further to the south, so that's a more unsettled end to September once again, in line really what the Japanese model was showing. Going out to the next weekly period from the CFS version 2 model, this one takes us from the 2nd of October to the 8th of October. Again, same idea, we've got that trough of low pressure into the north of the country, the ridge is down to the south, so it's a more unsettled start to October again on that solution. So I think the Japanese and the CFS are sort of in the same ballpark here, with a more unsettled into September, start to October, whereas the Bayesian Climate Centre wants to keep things largely settled through much of the rest of September and then turn it unsettled into the start of October. As we move through in towards the final week period from the CFS, takes us from the 9th to the 15th of October. Again, that trough is still in there across the country. We've still got that low pressure sitting over the country. So this is a more unsettled situation from the CFS model. It is seeing more unsettled conditions going off even into the middle of October, whereas the Bayesian Climate Centre and the Japanese model want to settle things down again as we go through into the middle of October. So quite a few discrepancies there on these longer range models, but all in agreement that it turns a bit more unsettled as we get through towards the end of September. So I think we've got pretty good agreement on that. But what's happening is going to October, it's probably starting off a little bit more unsettled, but I would suggest there's good agreement, although the CFS doesn't really agree with it, but I think the CFS is going a bit over the top with the unsettled conditions. I think there's good agreement that as we go into October, we probably settle it down again actually, and overall there's no real sign of anything particular autumnal, particularly stormy, particularly wet, coming up over the next few weeks on these longer range models. That's not to say they're not wrong and we won't get some proper autumnal conditions setting up, but overall I think the general direction of these longer range models, they are experimental, but the general direction is for quite a bit of settled weather, quiet benign weather really, even going off into October, although there could be shorter unsettled snaps at the end of September, the start of October. But overall, well, the weather's looking pretty fair, I think, even going into the middle of next month. So we'll keep an eye on how it's developing, but so far, nothing all that autumnal, and certainly nothing all that cold showing up. That's it for now. Weekend broadcast tomorrow, so come back to that. That's all for now, and thanks for watching.